Ferrari is planning a huge upgrade package for Spa, and it looks like the team wants to make their car go 0.3 of a second faster. But Hamilton and Leclerc have different feelings about the back part of the car, and the Ferrari drivers might have very different weekends in Spa. Will this upgrade finally help Hamilton get closer to the front cars and make him race better against everyone else? Or will it be bad news for Leclerc, who keeps asking the team to find more speed in the car? What's happening at Ferrari in 2025 is getting more and more crazy. Some people think the team should give up on this season and work on 2026 instead, while others think there's still more speed they can find in the car. Either way, Spa will see a big upgrade coming to the car: a new back suspension. For only the second time ever, Ferrari is trying to fix the problem that has been hurting their 2025 car's speed ever since the first race in Australia. And most people think it will make the car about 0.3 faster in one lap. Whether this will help in races or just in one fast lap, we'll have to wait and see. But what's cool to explain is that this upgrade, even though it's really big, isn't something that should surprise us when we think about how Ferrari does things. When Ferrari built their 2025 car, they decided to move the driver's seat backwards, which meant the gas tank and engine had to move back too. This meant Ferrari had to use a back shock that couldn't really control how the back of the car moved. The shock itself doesn't control how high the back of the car sits, but it controls how fast the back of the car changes height, especially when the air flowing over the car causes problems with how well it works. That shock can also change how often the car's height changes to keep it away from the airflow problems that cause the car to lose grip, which we've seen all through 2025. Yes, Ferrari has also made the back suspension stronger to keep the car from lifting up, but people don't expect this to make the car much faster at all. Instead of that, Ferrari decided to try something more bold, because they want to keep the back of the car lower when braking, which gives them more control when braking and turning into corners. And from this point of view, you'd think that Ferrari still has hope for winning the championship, at least the team championship. In Spa, we should get a lot of answers about whether Ferrari understood what they needed to fix. But at the end of the day, we shouldn't get our hopes up too much. It's a big upgrade package for sure, and it's trying to fix one of the biggest, if not the biggest, problems with the car in 2025. But what's even more important is that the team from Maranello is now saying something very important. They're not giving up on 2025 just yet. Hamilton's requests haven't been listened to, and even though he thinks the chances for this season are 0 to none, his mind might change after the Belgian Grand Prix. Both Leclerc and Hamilton have already tried out the new back suspension at Mugello. 200 kilometers of track time, 19 laps each, and they shared what they thought. Hamilton is believed to trust the car more and more now after that first private test, while Leclerc had his own doubts and doesn't think the car's behavior has changed that much. But the more important thing here is that these technical upgrades have been worked on by Loic Sera, the technical director who came from Mercedes, and with him watching the test, the conclusion was that the solution was much better compared to how the car felt before. And like I said earlier in the video, this is the second time that the SF-25 is going to get a big makeover. The first one was done on the floor in Austria, which right away helped the Maranello team finish third and fourth place. Of course, it took Antonelli and Verstappen being out of the race for this to happen. But in Silverstone, we saw a huge improvement in how fast they could go in one lap. If the perfect lap can be done right, Ferrari can be up there with the McLarens and give us what we've been waiting for so long: a real fight in the second half of the season. The big question is, did this happen a little too late? And should Ferrari already be focusing on 2026? The numbers are pretty disappointing. Ferrari hasn't won a Grand Prix this year if we don't count that sprint race win in Shanghai from Hamilton. And this is the race that actually gave Ferrari information about the ride height, because both the 7-time world champion and Leclerc were kicked out of the race because of ride height problems. If the new suspension lets Ferrari have more choices in how they set up the car, then the car should be way more competitive than what we saw. But the question is, could we see it get better on Saturday? It's not like Ferrari had terrible race speed on Sundays. They've been up there with McLaren, but they were too far behind to make moves. That's why they had to use up a lot more tires to catch up with the rest of the cars, and when it was time to make a real move, the tires were already worn out. Still, the Spa Grand Prix gives them an interesting chance because it's a sprint weekend, and Hamilton will have only 1 hour to test out the upgrades before they use them in a competitive session. Once they do that, they could work on the car for qualifying, and it's another test to see if Ferrari can prove that when the car is good, they shouldn't change anything. According to Lewis Hamilton, there is one area that needs to be made stronger right away. If that doesn't get fixed from Spa onwards, then there's no point in looking for more speed. Adding to this, Hamilton said, "We have low speed understeer, which is just how this car is. I think we're pushing too hard to get that extra bit of time, but on actual pure speed, the car is as fast as those ahead. We're probably having to push a little bit too hard, which is making the car harder to drive. So, we need to find a little bit more speed." There have been more reports about other work being done in areas besides the back suspension of the car, and that's the power steering of the SF-25. The Maranello team promised to do the upgrade, and even though it won't come in Belgium, but in Hungary, it's another hint that they are not ready to focus on 2026 just yet. It might not be the news that Hamilton is hoping for given where he is in the Drivers' Championship, but still the frustration that he and Leclerc showed after the Silverstone Grand Prix is more than enough for the engineers back in Maranello to squeeze out every single bit of speed available. And like I said earlier in the video, Hamilton's goals are clear. Focus on 2026. Even though the 7-time world champion is sure that we shouldn't expect tons of competitiveness to come in the rest of the season, and explaining more about this, he did say, "If I'm honest, I don't know what upgrades we have coming for 2025, but we haven't had an upgrade for some time. We'll keep pushing with what we have, but pretty soon, I'll just be saying, let's focus on next year." So we're building a foundation this year, learning about the tools, the structures, our processes, and just getting those right. So then when we arrive next year, we'll have the car that we really want. Next year is the championship that's open right now. This one would be a lot harder to win, but it's still not closed. All of this makes us think that Hamilton and Ferrari are now thinking that there's literally no way to win the 2025 championship if you're thinking about it in a smart way. Yes, they're not giving up just yet, and you won't see Vasseur wave the white flag. The Frenchman himself said that a lot of upgrades are coming. But what Ferrari is focusing on seems a bit weird. They want to understand the car before they bring in massive upgrades, and that really hurts them long term because they've now wasted a good amount of time to finish that understanding process. On top of that, we need to see who will come out on top once the car becomes super competitive in 2026. Hamilton is now way behind Leclerc, but he started to pick up speed and understand the car better. But will this be enough to be up there with the Monaco driver who people say will be the next champion for Ferrari since Schumacher? Time will tell, and for now, we're supposed to wait and see what the big Spa upgrade will bring us. With all of this in mind, do you think that the new back suspension is going to bring the much-needed 0.3 of a second to the SF-25? And if so, do you think that Ferrari can turn the second half of the season in their favor and do a little bit of damage to the McLarens up front? Let us know in the comments below. And once you do that, make sure to click on the video that's appearing on your screen right now.